So here we go. We're going to warm up for strength work. And we have people out doing things, working in your yard, doing whatever, swimming, riding, all that kind of stuff. I have a band. I have a chair. Could be a kitchen chair. Could be a nice stable chair of any sort. I have my weights, okay? My hand weights, which I'm going to use. I have a mat in the floor. Maybe you have a carpeted area. You don't need a mat. Whatever. We're going to go ahead and get warmed up in this strength work session today. I'm going to be using these in just a minute. But here's the deal. I tend to really lean toward doing a lot of functional moves, because if you can do some off the wall kind of contortion, but you can't walk down the street and scratch your head, well, you're not very functional, are you? So here's my wall. Again, if you don't have a wall or a door, and you can still see what I'm doing here, use your chair. Use the back of the chair or the seat of the chair and put your hand on that, or a counter. So here I am. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to hip hinge. I'm going to push right into my chair or my wall, and I'm going to push back. See that? So I'm going to come in here, and then I'm going to go tap with a knee as I'm pushing. See, I'm pushing right through here, and I push off just like that. So let me kind of unpack this. So whenever I come down here, most of all of you are going to flare your elbows, and that is fine for this move. As I push in here, I want to drop my shoulders. So we're warming up. If we go all the way in and we keep our chin tucked, and we go all the way in to where we turn the head and touch the ear. I see Kay coming on. This is yours, Kay. So I'm working against a wall, a door. If you don't have that, but you have your chair, you can do the same thing. Okay, so those of you who are working at this now on a wall, you're going to go down and turn your head, and you're going to really feel a stretch right through here. Okay, so when you do this kind of a thing, waking up, and if you're really fighting, forward head, and you see I'm pushed back a bit. So that means whenever I come in here, it's going to affect my legs all the way down. It's going to affect my back, my shoulders, my chest. So see, as I come back in and I turn and I put my ear to the wall, so to speak, without jumting my head forward. Okay, so I don't want to go forward like that. I want to come down, flare my elbows, drop my shoulders, gently turn my ear to the wall, push back. See that? That amount of stretch on a calf, on a hamstring, on my legs, my back is exactly what you need to get more functional. So I'm going to go out a little wider than shoulder. My hands are at shoulder height. I'm going to turn. As I go down, you're going to want to lift your heels. And I'm telling you that if you suffer from a hamstring issue, step in a little. If you don't, and it feels like a nice, good stretch. As you're coming in and you're turning your ear to the wall, soften your knees, don't lock them. Turn your ear, keep coming down, but don't let your heels come off the ground. So I'm telling you, for somebody with hamstring issues, that might be, depending on how severe your injury is, play with it a little bit. So here my knees are soft, my heels are down, my chin is tucked, I'm coming down, I'm bracing. I'm doing this slowly. And if you are doing this move with me, your elbows are flared and your shoulders are down. You're going to be feeling this right through that chest into the shoulder work right there. Got it? And yes, I do it repeatedly. So breathing in, exhaling through the nose if possible. And as I go down here, so if I were with you personally, I'd be constantly checking, okay, are my shoulders down? Is my knee soft, not bent, but soft? A little tiny bend, not a lot. Because I want to stretch all the way down into my heels, into my plantar fascia, into my Achilles. Okay, take a breath. And out. And I'm telling you, once you've done 2 sets of 10 of what I'm doing right now, oh my goodness, you're gonna feel like, whoa, I think I need to take a break. Take a hand up and go right here on your head. See, like that? See, I turn. Then I'm going to turn to the wall, change, turn. So I'm trying to get you warmed up today with a very different protocol than just walking front to back, which is fine, but we're going to be doing work all over the place. And when you wake up, before you've done a lot of movement, see, you've pretty much gone in one direction. So I'm trying to capitalize on these functional motions and get you warmed up. Now I'm going to go back in and do a couple more of these wall pushes. Again, I'm stepped pretty far away. See, I could do this in here and it wouldn't be nearly as stressful or impactful if it's too much for you here. So it's just step in. That's all you need to do. If you like being out further, then go out further. Okay, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, turning your head, taking your ear to the wall. See? And by that, I don't mean leaning with your neck. I don't want you to lean out at all. I want your body to come down as you're turning and you're putting that ear to the wall. If it's too stressful on your shoulder, step in, okay? I hope you're getting these little nuances in this move. Breath in and exhale through the nose. In and exhale through the nose. In and exhale through the nose. See, I've stepped in because I want you to step in if it's too much up here, all right? We're doing some big moves, big presses, just to get all warmed up, okay? So now I'm gonna turn. See that? I'm gonna put my hand right there. I'm gonna go out here. Okay, I'm only gonna do this once or twice. Step, turn, out. Now we're ready to bring the knee up, okay? And see, I'm pressing my knee against the wall there. Now let's say you're just on a chair and you're out there in the middle of the room. Number one, I would encourage you to learn how to do wall work and floor work. Get situated so you can. So I'm just showing you, if you have a chair, you're gonna bring it up like that, okay? And hopefully you've positioned your chair so that it's not gonna slip on you, okay? See how I'm coming up here like this? But what I want you to do is push into the chair with your knee or push into the wall with your knee. Now, for those of you who have pulled your hamstring or have hamstring issues, you're not going to be able to go up very high, okay? So, number one, place your foot so that it's straight on. That's number one. Number two, drop your shoulders. Number three, brace. That's your setup. Now you bring your knee up as far as you feel you can. Okay? Now, of course, I'm going to keep pushing somebody to go up higher and higher. But you got to keep your stomach super tight to do this. And you're pushing into the knee. Right here. You're pushing into the knee, into the wall. Then you bring it down. You're going to notice. You're going to feel through the groin and into the hamstring when you do this of the supporting leg. Okay, let's try it again. Switch legs. Okay, drop your shoulders. Drop your chin. Bring the knee up as far as you feel you can. Okay, bring that knee up there. And you're pushing into the wall with your knee mostly. Okay? Your supporting leg has to be soft. Okay, that's pretty standard. But I'll keep reminding you because I know I have lots of slugs that like to revert back to their old ways. And that's okay, as long as you're tuning in. That's okay, we love slugs here. Okay, and then bring that back down. Okay, those two moves. Oh my goodness. You talk about waking up through here. It's a big deal. Okay. Now then, take a big deep breath. Out through the nose, in through the nose, and just step. That's all I did. I just took a step. And my heel raised, as did yours. Put your heel down. Okay. Now I'm going to take another step. I'm going to come up here to my toe, take a step, and my heel came up in the back, as did yours. Drop your heel. Drop your heel in the back. Okay. That move, those two steps, where you're acting like you're going to walk, that's very functional, right? Okay. And then I put my heel down. Okay, that made me pull back. That made me use my hamstring, gluteal, calf, foot totally differently, okay, or more intensely. Now I'm going to act like I'm going to take a step, which means I have to lean in, correct? So if I'm leaning in, whoa, does that put it right here and right here? And I'm going to hang out here for just a second, because I'm going to come back to this on the other leg that's pushing me forward. I'm taking and I'm breaking down a simple walking pattern, and I'm stopping you at crucial places to warm up and to start using your whole leg a little more. So see how I drop back down to my heels? Now I'm going to go up like I'm going to take a step. See, I'm up on my toe in the back. My stomach has to be super tight. I'm really pushing down into that front foot, which makes you use your hamstring and your quad. So this is one of the beginnings of strengthening and using your leg, front and back. Then I'm going to come down and I'm going to go back so that this one's the front leg, okay? So it's a little wider step back, right? Now I'm going to act like, right now, so you're in this split stance. Now the other leg is in front. First thing I would do if I were with you is punch you right here. Depending on who you are, I might punch a little harder, okay? So right here, tap, tap, tap. See, that's what I'm doing? Because I want you to go back. I want you to bend that back knee just a little bit, okay? Now I'm going to act like I'm going to go take a step, okay? So that means that my knee cannot be way out over my toe yet. So I'm going to act like I'm going to take a step. So that means I'm going to lean in right to there. See, I'm at my toe now. I went from my heel. That's all I did. I went from my heel to my toe like I'm going to take a step. But I'm stopping you right there, okay? And I'm going to say rib cage up. And you're putting a lot of pressure right here and right here, right? Yeah. So in a minute, if you have a significant injury in your hamstring here, see in a minute, we're gonna have weights and we're gonna be lifting the heel at this point. Right now I'm not, I'm just warming you up. See, I'm on my toe. I'm acting like I'm gonna take a step, but my toe stays down. That makes me start to train the hamstring and the quad because I'm holding you here for just a few seconds. Then I'm gonna come back and just step in neutral and just do little tiny recovery steps. See this? Little tiny recovery steps. Okay, so what did I do? I work against the wall in a normal, very functional move that you've done a million times. Well, maybe not a million, probably 100 times this morning, just by getting up and going and doing the stuff that you do, going to the bathroom, getting a drink, stuff like that. See, I use that functional move against the wall and then separate from the wall, like I was gonna do a walk, and then I stopped you in mid stride. Okay, take a big breath. Now we're gonna cross over. Very important. Little maneuver for balance and then come back. So when I step you across right here, number one, if you want to make that a little more challenging, you either stand on your little square pad that you have, or you stand on a spongy surface. I don't care which leg, but let's say put the stability leg on the little pad, step over, and if anything, just tap. Don't go into a full step, then come back, okay? Now you step in the middle of the pad. I'm stepping on this little exercise pad here. I'll move it over a little bit. Thanks, so you can see this. Okay, so first of all, before you step, right here, many of you let go. And that's what I don't want you to do. Drop your shoulders, brace. Breathe into the nose, out through the nose. Soften your knee. Step over and tap. See, it's a tap. It's a tap. It's a tap. I almost like that you're tapping it because it forces you to use that stability leg. I call it the stability leg because it has to take all the pressure. So when you do this in a crossover and you've had hamstring injuries, hip, let's say you have a wonky hip or a hamstring or anything like that. This kind of a task to stay on balance becomes a big deal. Okay, I've been there. I kind of know what I'm talking about here. And I'm breaking down some very functional moves today. In fact, I might even load it this day as functional move breakdown. And I'm telling you, if you want to improve your balance, go back and revisit this whole little warm-up thing that I've done. Yes, it's a warm-up, but it's ushering us into our regular class in strength work, because this is strength work when you're standing one leg versus the other leg, and you're making your foot and your ankle and your whole body balance you. Wow. So just tap. See, tap and act like you're going to lift your knee. See, just do that. Take a breath. And then when you overbalance, go ahead and step in, because that is part of learning how to recover. Okay. Again, brace. So when I say brace, that means you've got to tighten in on the core, soften your knee, push your butt back. Those two things, softening your knee and pushing your butt back, makes you contract and innervate all your back extensors, just to do that. So bend that knee and see, I'm tapping and I'm bringing my knee up. I'm tapping, I'm bringing my knee up. Tapping, I'm letting you use your hands to balance with. Big breath. By the way, this whole move becomes much more challenging if I don't let you use your hands, okay? If I put your hands like this, and then you try to do this little maneuver, it becomes much more challenging. Okay, bring it back. Take a big deep breath. All right. So if you did nothing else but what we did up until now, pretty much every day. So that would be the first, that'd be about the first 15, 20 minutes, okay? Against the wall, doing our knee ups, doing our pressing, opening, that whole thing into our little walk. Remember, you take a step, you keep your toe down, drop your heel. Wow, push yourself back there. Hang out there for a few seconds. Then you step forward until your heel comes up and back. Now press that heel that's up and back down and correct your stance. That whole little tirade that I just went through is a big deal in functional work, okay? Now I'm gonna take my chair, my little chair here. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing. All right, I have my little mat here because I have a very hard surface under it. So now I'm gonna just move forward and then we're gonna pick up our weights. Okie dokie. So here I am at the chair. I'm gonna come right here. I'm gonna step in, I'm gonna step back. Okay. So there I am in a typical modified runner stretch. Why is it modified? Because I'm leaning into the chair. If I weren't leaning into the chair, I'd be up here and I'd be bringing my knee down here. And some of us can do that. Well, nice. But what if you can't? What if you need a little chair here? Use your chair. As you're coming down with your knee, you're going to put it on that pad. See that? So this kind of culminates our strength work warm-up using very functional moves to get us into better range of motion. I hope that helps you understand what I'm doing this for. So see what I'm in? If I had you up and you were in this position, you'd be running, right? Well, we're just going through that move to get us using our muscles better, okay? And it's hard to go all the way down here if you had replaced joints or if you have injuries. Oh my goodness. So to come up from this point, you put your hand here, you give yourself a little push at the ground, but you don't round your back. You push, you get your knee off the ground, and you come up. And you're in a toe down, heel down position. So first you start with your toe, then you put your heel down, you drop your shoulders, okay? Then you come up, stand up, really stretch those arms out. Only do 6 little circles. So why am I doing this right now? Because I'm trying to help your shoulders to settle down into the proper position that they need to be in. You have just gotten up and you slept in all kind of weird positions with your shoulders. And people will get up with shoulder issues because they rounded their shoulders or whatever, put their arm up over their head, all kinds of things. Okay, bring those hands down. Take a big deep breath, shoulders up, down, switch legs. So now my other leg is going to be forward. And I'm going to press back into my heel. Okay, so here I am. This is a modified walker or runner stretch. My knee is straight at the chair. My other leg is straight. And if I had you not doing modified, you would be doing this. You would be coming down like this. See that? But I'm letting you modify because I tend to let anybody who needs a little help understanding their movement pattern and learning to use it, especially if they've had injuries, you've got to use modification. Use appropriate modifications. Use one that's not going to get you in trouble, okay? Take a big breath. So you're down there. I'm going to push into the toe. I'm going to come off of the ground. If I need to, I'll push into my chair or into the floor. I'll come up and I'll come up. Woo! Right there. Okay. Now I'm going to turn my little pad this way, just because I don't have a carpet today. I have my chair here, and I'm going to pick up my first weights. And what am I going to do? Am I going to pick up extremely light weights? No, I'm not. I'm going to go for heavier because we're going to work down today. Okay? Now, I don't know if you can see my weights. I think you can. Pretty sure you can. Okay. Okay. So they're straight on. I want to get them in a position because I'm going to pick up heavy weights. What's heavy? Well, everybody has to answer that for themselves. I will tell you what's heavier. My very heavy weight configuration is for these sets is 15 and 18. Okay. So I took you through quite a bit of movement warm up. I'm pretending you're now outside and you're going to start doing your lifting of pails and golf clubs and golf bags and groceries and shopping at the mall with tons of bags, right? That's for Nancy. Okay, so here I am. See what I'm going to do? This is going to be heavy, y'all. Pay attention. I'm going to come down. I'm going to grab with one hand, pull my heavier weight out, grab with the other hand. I'm down here, okay? I'm going to keep them down here. I'm going to push back into my butt. I'm going to push back into my heels and stand up. Yes. So here I am with heavy, heavy weights. Take a big deep breath. And I'm going to step out. I'm going to bring those weights right here into the middle. See this? They're right on the insides of my legs. And I'm pushing back into my butt. My back is extended because I'm going to put these suckers down. And I want to do it safely. See, I just now put them down in the floor. Which, by the way, I'm doing a lot of functional breakdowns. This is one of them. Oh my goodness, if I had even a quarter for every time somebody told me, well, I just went down to pick up my suitcase and my back pulled. This is why you didn't do it correctly. Look at how I'm standing, step wide. Push your butt back, okay? Back is extended. Grab whatever it is you're looking to get, bring it into you, very close to you, and come up. Okay, now while I was doing that, I was pushing into my heels the whole way. I'm going to go back down with that heavy weight and come back up. No, I'm not going to have you stay down there because that's another mistake. Somebody will get in a position to pull weeds or do whatever, pulling of whatever, and you'll stay down there. No, you need to come up, take a break, reset, push back into the heels, grab, and come up. Okay, then I'm going to come up, and I'm going to come up one at a time with a wide stance. Okay, take a breath, drop your shoulders, Breath. Pushing into the heels. Keep your chin tucked. Breath. Whatever you do, don't flare that elbow. If you flare your elbow on this lift, then those weights are too heavy for you to do that move with. And so don't do that. Don't flare your elbow like that. Okay? That's a dead giveaway to a trainer that what you're attempting to lift is too much. Whenever I see somebody do this, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. We need to start back with hardly no weight. Okay? But if you can come up and keep that elbow in, keep that shoulder down. These are our biceps. They can take a lot. And we just, I don't know, maybe we're too afraid to do that. Don't know how to do it. I'm showing you how. Okay? So I'm telling you, it's very important for me to keep my arms, my shoulders, my back strong, because that's going to help me. That's going to help me no matter what I lift, what I do. It's very important to keep them strong. So you see what I'm doing? I'm doing this full set at a very slow pace, but the whole way up, breathing in, exhaling through the nose if possible, tightening my stomach, my knees are soft, my butt is pushed back just a bit, okay? Because my back is extended, okay? Breath. This is very slow, but it's gonna push because it's heavier weight. And this one we can do with a heavier weight, okay? Take a breath, hang in with me. Make sure you're pushing into your feet, a little more into the heels. Okay, now we're gonna take it down. We're gonna go from our bicep, shoulder stability, bicep working. Now we're gonna step wide. We're gonna take these weights in the middle. We're gonna put this weight down, just like it was very a heavy load. Could be a bucket. Let go. Open up. Open up. So to put a heavy load down and then to pick it back up again, don't let anybody make you underestimate that. That's a big deal, okay? Because you're going to be using all those muscles in your legs. You're going to be using your back properly, which is going to really push it, okay? So I'm going to go down, grab my weights. So how am I going to get them? I'm going to keep them close to my body. I'm going to bring it right down here, and I'm going to bring them up, and I'm right here, okay? I'm going to step in, take a big deep breath. Now, do you remember when we were warming up? I told you I'm taking functional moves, and I'm breaking them down so that you get more functional. Okay, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna take a step. I'm just gonna take a step. See that? That's it. But what have I got? Oh, I'm holding on to 30 pounds right now. So that would be my body weight and an extra 30. Therefore, if I have replaced joints, which I do, I need to be very circumspect about my lineup, okay? So rib cage up in this position where I just stepped out, and I have 30 pounds here. It's very easy to let yourself do this. Don't do that. Go back, say rib cage up. Now bend that back knee and put the heel down and then come back. It's a little, so it's a little bend and then it's back, okay? So you pick up whatever weight is pushing you a little. And you see, I'm not hanging on to my weights right here. They are hanging off my fingertips. So that means a lot of forearm, yeah. And I'm doing these little dips. And this actually is would be one of my preferred moves to help somebody with their hamstring strength, especially if they needed to go at it carefully. I would do this probably with no weights with them, because just to handle your own body weight is a big deal, okay? So I'm gonna try to do about a set of 10 or 12. I think I'm probably there, okay? Now, I'm just gonna come back, okay? Take a big breath. Bring my shoulders to my ears, then drop them down, okay? Shoulders to ears, drop them down. Shoulders to ears, keep your knees soft, braced. Shoulders to ears. Yes, I'm doing this with very heavy weight. So, not the heaviest I could use. I could go up one more. I have 15. So you need to have whatever's pushing you. Breath, exhale. Breath, exhale. Drop those shoulders, tight tummy. And exhale. Okay, one more. Okay, and drop down. So I did that one more for Kay, because this is going to strengthen her in exactly where she needs to be strengthened, okay? So it's Kay's fault. All right, now I'm going to keep my other leg back, and I'm going to act like I'm going to take a step to walk. That's all I did. See, I have these weights here. I'm going to take a step like I'm going to walk. You can make it a little more if you want. You don't have to. Now I'm going to take my back knee, bend the knee like I'm going to go down, but then I don't. I take it back straight. I'll turn so you can see what I'm doing. See, I just took a step. I have these very heavy weights. I'm going to bend the back knee. Then I'm going to straighten that leg back and put my heel down. So we already did this in the warm-up, if you remember. Breath, bend that knee, push back into the heel. See that? Bend that knee, push back into the heel. Take a breath. Stay with me. Push back. Yeah, look at your lineup. So as your knee bends, that front knee, you don't want it to go out over your toe anymore. You're right there, and then push back into the heel. Breath, down, push back into the heel. Okay, two more. Here we go. One more. Breath, and step back. Now you may be saying, these are getting pretty heavy, Jeannie, and I would say, I know. And I feel so sad that it's so heavy. Not really. Okay, put them down. Put them down. All right. Now, we're going to recover here, because these are our stabilities. We're going to turn our hands up. Right in the middle of this whole strength training work, we're going to put our hands out. And we're going to do our little circles. And I'm going to point backward with my thumb. But if you point backward with your thumb, see, you got to make sure that it's going backward, because you might think it's going backward and all it is this. So I'm saying turn that thumb back. Tighten your tummy. Now, very importantly, right now, soften your knees. Tight tummy. See, when I come up, I fully come up. Then I go down, back and down, forward, up, back and down. And I only do it like 6 times, maybe, thereabouts. I'm not doing the full 30 right now. Breath. See, I wanted to set Kathy at ease so she didn't have to count 30 and then yell at me when I went over. Okay, so now I'm going to come down. So let me just, again, go back to functional stuff. Shoulders, big deal. You're using them all day, sometimes improperly. If you will just take a step back, especially if you're doing heavy gardening, This is especially if you're doing gardening or computer work. Seriously, you tend to do this. Okay, just stop. Stand, soft knees, tighten. Put your hands out. Do 6 to 10. You don't have to do all of them. Just 6 to 10. Palm up, palm down. Okay. Generally, I will capitalize on and do palm up first because that's going to get you to open back. But both of them and just shake out. It will give your shoulders a fighting chance. Okay. Now I'm going to step back into the arena, so to speak. And this time I'm not going to go super wide. I'm only going to go shoulder width. All right. Some of you should step back and take the wide approach. Okay. Because this will make you use your back, your legs very differently. This is going to be easier on a lift. Okay. So you get to choose which way you want. I don't want you narrow. I just want you shoulder width or thereabouts or wider. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up these 30 pounds. Okay. Am I going to do them both together? No, I am not. I'm going to go down. I'm going to push my butt back, grab one, grab the other, come up. Yeah. Now I'm going to stay right here and I'm going to hold on to these weights right here. I'm going to step, step, step. So I'm going to go ahead and do a carry. All right. So on this one, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to walk back. Now, if you have an injury, if you have a replaced joint, especially a hip, you add this much weight, it's going to speak to you. So I have to do everything I can to not over lean, especially on my hip. If you watch me carefully, you will see. You'll go, oh yeah, she's leaning a little more on when she steps with the right hip. And you would be correct. But I'm going to try really hard to do a typical carry, which is what seniors, I say seniors especially, because this is a common functional move that we should be able to do on a regular basis. Number one, it's not overusing in weird positions any joint, okay? It's merely helping you through life situations. Pretend you're carrying a suitcase. Let's say that. Let's just say, okay, pick up some buckets of manure or water, or pick up those suitcases there. Okay, one is 15, the other is 15. And I'm doing a continuum of carries. And I'm checking. What am I checking? I'm checking how is my joints, how are they functioning in this carry? And don't hold tension in your hands. I'm just letting them hang off my fingertips here. See that? So I'm carrying it. Breath, 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 breath. And when you start to carry and you're really concentrating, a lot of times you'll lean in. So keep trying to correct where your rib cage is up and your chin is tucked. Okay, so don't lean out excessively when you're carrying a heavy weight, which is very difficult to do. So I wanted to hone in on these very functional moves, load you, but prepare you to load. So now I'm going to take these and I'm going to come over here to my weights. I'm going to step wide. As I'm putting them down, I'm going to use them to really innervate my quads. Okay, how am I going to do that? I'm gonna go down and act like I'm gonna put them down, but I'm not. I'm gonna push into my hips and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do this 6 times, okay? So I'm right here at my weight bench or my weight blocks. I'm gonna push my butt back, bring those weights right here. I'm gonna drop my butt a little more, drop it a little more, drop it a little more, then come back. Now, if you've had a significant injury, this is where you might want to step back. Go ahead and put your weights down and do some of that work on the wall with your heel. See, I'm going to go down. I told you what, I'm going to do 6 of these. Yeah, drop your butt, but don't flex your back. That means round your back. Take a breath. So I think I have 3 more. I'm not quite sure, but I think I have 3 more. Go into your heels. Somebody might say, well, how low do I go? Until you feel these quads kicking. Yeah. Push back, push back, push back into the heels. Drop your butt. And you'll feel those quads firing. That's what you want. Breath. Stop. Into the hips. Step into the heels. Heels, heels, heels. Drop your butt, drop your butt, drop your butt. Take a breath. Okay, this is the last one, I promise. Down, drop into the heels, drop into the heels, drop into the heels. Heels, 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 and come up. Okay, now we're gonna put them down. Breath. And I always turn them up to the highest configuration. I may pick up lighter here in just a second, but when you step away from your weight block, make sure it's the heaviest one so that it prevents little hands from getting hold of it and pulling it up. Now, a joke came to mind just then. Sorry, take a breath. So when you're working with your blocks and you've got the 18 pounds, you want to turn it up so that they're not easily removed. See, I would usually joke to keep your husband from lifting them up. I hope some of you that I could say by name are laughing right now. Okay, drop your shoulders. Knees are soft. See, soft and actually bent because I want your butt to push back. So I actually want you to go wide enough that you are pushing your butt back and you're going to turn, tap, turn, tap, turn, tap. Now we're going to go back to the wall. Okay. So 2 of your best pieces of equipment, seriously, is the floor and the wall. Now, if you have a chair, of course, that's a throw in. But if you have a tree, if you have a gate, you have a fence that won't move on you, and a wall, wow, can you do strength work? Okay, so remember this one? Remember this, how we started today? Yeah? This is great to recover from hamstring because you're leaning into the wall. You can use it as much. See this? This is going to be a hard one. See if I'm out that far? Or you can do it easy. Or anywhere in between. So your hands go straight out at your shoulder. Your elbows drop. So I started closer. Then you can go back, 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 back until you're like, okay, that's enough. See this? I'm going to drop my elbows to the wall, come back. See that? So my tummy's super tight. My knees are soft. They are not locked. And I'm pushing my elbow to the wall and I'm going to come back. So I had somebody ask me just the other day, they had hurt their elbow and they were noticing they were losing a lot of strength and everything in their arm and they were feeling too mushy back here. So if it's loose skin, well, sorry, but if it's muscle, we can do something about that, all right? and you start here, close to the wall. You do not hurt your shoulders. You do not hurt your joints in any way. You come into the wall. You make sure your knees are soft. Your tummy is super tight. And whatever you do when you're doing this wall work, do not lean your head out. I want you to keep your chin tucked. Right now, tighten your butt. Turn so that your ear would come to the wall if you went on into the wall. See, my ear would hit the wall and then I would come back. Now I'm gonna move my feet back about 3 or 4 inches because I would like a little more pull on my tricep, on my shoulder, and especially right here. That is the muscles right between your shoulder blades. Extremely important to work with them if you have osteoporosis, if you have rounded head syndrome, if you have very weak backs of the arms. But don't cave on your form when you're doing this. So I step back 3 or 4 and I can feel it more on the backs of my arms. But notice I rolled in so that when I touch the wall with my elbow, it's straight under my wrists, meaning I'm not flaring, okay? Breath, drop your shoulders, come to the wall, press back. Breath, tighten up, don't push your hips forward. Stay nice and lined up, touch those elbows, turn the head if you want to. Breath, make sure you keep in good line. You should be pushing on equally, both hands, okay? And pressure on equal hands. Now push back. This right here, right now, if you did that with me, should be screaming. And these, okay? So now we're gonna just do a split stance. And we're gonna go one hand versus the other. And I like to do one hand versus the other because it's capitalizing on what we started with in the first place, the figure 8. See this? Right through my back. This should feel so good after you really pushed hard on that wall in correct line. Okay, so I'm gonna go front to back, front to back, front to back. I'm gonna step forward. I'm gonna do front to back, front to back. And you see, if we had time, and I were with you personally, and I knew you really wanted to get something done here, I would do this, then I would step back into the arena, and we'd hit it again, okay? We'd go at it again. Breath, breath, and I would hit it again with you. So I would do maybe 10 to 15. And when you start whining, then I would let you take a break, and then we'd go back in and do maybe 5, maybe 10. That's how you increase, and that's how you get better. You don't just make it so hard that you never want to do it again. I trick you. Okay, good job. This is going to be functional breakdowns, okay? I'm going to put that on my recording.